Every anime fan knows that moment. Not the fight, not the power-up, not even the final blow. I'm talking about that split second where the villain's entire personality just collapses. The smile fades, the confidence disappears, and you can literally see it in their eyes. Oh, I might have actually messed up. In real talk, that moment hits harder than the entire fight combined, because nothing in anime is more satisfying than watching someone go from "you're not a threat" to "wait, why is he still standing?" So yeah, today we're looking at the exact moments villains realized, too late, that they chose the wrong person to underestimate, and it never ends well for them. Maki Zenin breaks the hierarchy Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's start with a classic modern humiliation. The Zenin clan thought they were dealing with just Maki, no cursed energy, no legacy worth respecting, no future. They treated her like background noise. And honestly, that was their first mistake. Because the second Maki fully locks in after the betrayal from her father and her twin sister Mai, sacrificing herself, removing the remaining cursed energy that was acting as a nerf on her heavenly restriction. The entire clan realizes something is wrong, not slowly, not gradually, instantly. You can see it in their reactions. The confidence disappears mid-sentence, and then she moves, and it stops being a fight. It becomes a correction, a clean, quiet, unrecoverable correction. And I'm not going to lie, the worst part is how fast it happens. One moment they're talking down to her, next moment they're trying to figure out where their dominance went. Too late. Way too late. Toji Fushiguro versus Gojo JJK Hidden Inventory. Now this one is different, because Toji didn't realize he messed up at first. No, he thought he had already won. Gojo was down. Riko was gone. The mission was basically over. He's even relaxed about it. And that's when it happens. Gojo stands back up. And there's this silence. Not dramatic silence. Not anime silence. The kind of silence where even the villain stops talking. That's the moment it hits him. Oh, I didn't finish the job. And then Gojo opens his eyes. Yeah, that's not a rematch. That's a lesson. And Toji's expression literally shifts from confidence to, oh no. And at that point, you already know how this ends. Esdeath realizes she picked the wrong protagonist, Akame ga kill. Esdeath spent most of her life believing one thing: strength decides everything. And for most of the series, she was right, until she wasn't. Because Akame isn't supposed to survive that long. He's not supposed to adapt. He's definitely not supposed to push back. But then the fight changes, and for the first time, Esdeath hesitates. Not because she's weaker, but because she's realizing something far worse. She's not breaking. And that pause, that tiny moment of doubt, that's the beginning of her loss. Because villains like Esdeath don't lose to strength. They lose the moment they realize their opponent doesn't fear them anymore. Shigaraki finally gets it. My Hero Academia. Shigaraki's whole life is basically a slow realization of one thing. I thought I was the disaster. But then Deku shows up and keeps standing and keeps coming back and keeps pushing forward even when everything says stop. And during the later arcs, there's a moment where Shigaraki genuinely starts to hesitate. Not because he's weak, but because he's confused. Why won't this kid stop? Why won't he break? And that confusion turns into something rare for villains: doubt. And once that appears, the outcome is already decided. Meruem meets his endgame reality, Hunter x Hunter, Final Rs. This one doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like a correction of reality itself. Because Meruem doesn't lose instantly. He evolves, he learns, he adapts. And that's exactly why the realization hits harder. Because he finally understands something terrifying. Power doesn't guarantee survival. And when the poison starts working, you can literally see it. Not panic, not rage, just understanding. And for the first time in his entire existence, Meruem is not calculating victory. He's accepting loss. And that silence is louder than any battle scream. Yhwach finally sees it. Bleach, 1,000-year blood war. Yhwach's entire identity is certainty. He doesn't predict, he decides, until Ichigo shows up again. And things don't go according to his vision. That's the moment everything cracks. Because for someone who sees every future, the worst possible thing happens, a future he didn't account for. And you can tell Not in words, in hesitation. And for a character like Yuok, hesitation is death. Sukuna realizes he might actually lose Jujutsu Kaisen. Sukuna doesn't panic. Sukuna doesn't stress. Sukuna smiles until he doesn't. Because there's always that moment in top-tier fights where even the strongest curse in history has to mentally update the situation. Oh, this is still going. And the confidence flickers, not gone, just interrupted. And that interruption is all the heroes need. Because once Sukuna stops enjoying the fight, it stops being his fight. And that's the thing about villains in anime. They don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they assume the story is already over. They assume the hero is finished. They assume wrong. And that exact moment, that tiny shift from confidence to confusion, to wait, that's what makes anime fights unforgettable. Because nothing hits harder than watching someone realize, oh, I picked the wrong timeline to be arrogant in. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way.